Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here on this amazing Saturday. I'm on a little bit later than normal. I had some errands to run this morning. I had some real life stuff to take care of, but that's okay. I'm here now. Have some things that are important that I have to say today, and looking forward to being with you very quickly and allowing you to go and resume your Saturday afternoon. So today we have number 8 as our numerology digit of the day, and 8 represents power. It represents infinite timelines. It represents infinity. The symbol 8 goes into the symbol of infinity as 2 circles together. And that represents unending possibilities and abundance. It is a power number. It is also the number of new beginnings. So 1 is a number of beginnings, but that next octave, that next level of beginnings is new beginnings, and that's 8, which comes after 7. And 7 is the end of some of the things that you've been working on. Is a time to rest and kind of reflect on the things that you've done. But 8 is that next level. It's new beginning. It's power. It's infinite possibilities and timelines. It's a great number. And today is a day where there's a lot of abundance there for us to partake of. On the way to where I am right now, as you can look back, you see that I'm on Tempe Town Lake, one of my favorite places. And as you know, I love to be in nature and on the water. It really does something for me. It rejuvenates me. It gets me all tuned up and zoned in. On the way, I noticed that the Palo Verde blossoms, those yellow gold blossoms that are commonplace at the end of March, beginning of April, where the trees of this particular type of tree are filled with yellow gold blossoms. And there's a certain type of feeling I get every time this year when I see trees that are all gold. It does something to me. I get mesmerized. When I look at them, I cannot stop looking at them. It's as if there's something resonating with me. It's like I'm looking in the mirror, or something is pulling me into it. And as I was coming to this destination, I thought of the burning bush. I thought of Moses and the burning bush, and how the bush was on fire, and of course it wasn't consumed, but it was fire. And as Moses approached it, the Creator, the Spirit of God spoke to him, saying, "I want you to free my people." And of course Moses did not feel that he had what it took, or the expertise. He felt like he was ill-equipped to be able to fulfill that particular call. But as we all know, he definitely stretched out on faith, and as he reached toward doing what he was called to do, he was quite successful. And I guess in a way I take that as confirmation of my own calling, that I do feel like there's something inside me that's asking me to free people, to free you of the jail that you have yourself in, that has to do with your perception of yourself being in jail, your perception of yourself not having opportunity, not having ways of getting things done that are fulfilling, that are emancipatory. And I'm being led to believe that my words are empowering. My words break chains. My words help people to stand up and realize who they are and take their rightful place. And this, it's not something that I ever foresaw doing. It's not something that I ever thought I would ever be doing. But here I am every Saturday speaking words of affirmation and encouragement and power to people. And I don't know who's listening, and I don't know what you're getting out of it. I just know that it's something that I have to do. And as I do it, I am completely fulfilled. So I thought I would just share that with you and make you realize that as you begin to obey your own burning bush, as you begin to realize whatever your calling is, that as you stretch out on that, as you have faith, even if you don't feel equipped to do it, your actual stretching out, and that faith in itself is going to activate your ability to do it in a miraculous, magical way that doesn't really make a whole lot of common sense, but it will work. And that's what's happening to me. I've never been the type of person to just speak without being completely have it all organized and thought out, and now it's like I'm talking, and as I talk, the thoughts are coming to me for the first time. So this is something that I'm doing, and I know that even though I may not get immediate feedback that it's helpful, I know that it is. So remember, listen to the burning bush, because as you obey your calling, you become a burning bush to others. Okay? So I had not really planned to say that, but that just jumped on me. What I want to talk about today, and I can't really see who's on here. Hi there. How's it going? What I want to talk about today are two things. I want to talk about a little bit about the frequency of love and the importance of becoming more and more familiar with choosing love versus fear. I'll talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about manifestation and why it's good to be patient and wait for the things that you are intentioning. Wait for those things to manifest, and I'll talk about why you should be grateful that there is a period of time, a process between the time that you plant those seeds of intentionality and the time that you harvest them. That is in itself is a gift that you have to have a waiting period before manifestation happens, because oftentimes we become impatient and we want to manifest things right away, but they haven't taken root yet. So I'll talk about those two things: the frequency of love, and then the importance of waiting for things to manifest. So when it comes to the frequency of love, it is going to be pretty important to understand that love itself is the highest vibration. That vibration is actually God. When you exhibit love and you show love and you give in and surrender to love and what it is doing through you, you may not know it, but the things that you say and do on behalf of love or to reflect love cause the people and surroundings and things to entrain to become attuned to that new vibration, because it's the highest vibration. So whatever you do in the name of love, whatever you do in the vibration of love is going to lift all the boats. It's going to lift everything up to that new level, even unconsciously. They may not know it, but just because you allowed the Creator's love to come through you, you lift them up to a new level, and they don't realize it until later. But before they know it, they are acting, and they have already been attuned like a tuning fork. Like when you entrain someone to the vibration of love, you are a tuning fork, and they become attuned to a higher level of frequency because you were obedient to love. You were obedient to the higher calling of doing what is the best thing in that situation. So how do we get into the practice of choosing love versus fear? Okay? So what you want to do is you want to pay attention throughout the day. As you encounter difficult situations, like if you get triggered in traffic, or you have a sibling or relatives that know how to press your buttons, or where there are acquaintances who cause you to get triggered. You want to begin to see yourself responding to them, because at first it's going to be a reaction. It's a trigger, and we all have them. Regardless of all of the shadow work we do, there's still layers. There are layers that you still have to go through, and shadow work helps you with that. But what's also going to help you is if you begin to observe yourself, become an observer, and be acutely aware of your own reactions. So initially, you're going to fail. Initially, you're going to fall. Initially, you're going to trip. Someone's going to say the wrong thing to you. They're going to press that button, and you're going to react. You're going to defend yourself, and you're going to knock them down verbally. And then later on, you'll be able to reflect on that and you say, you know what, next time this person says something like this, or next time that happens, I am going to respond instead of reacting. And responding versus reacting denotes that you have a new level of awareness, that you are now not just in the moment, just reacting to things, but now you are in such a zone. You've been meditating, you've been reflecting, you have been in tune to source and to your higher power, that now you're no longer just a reactionary person. Now you're the type of person who has choices. So when someone comes before you and does something or says something that would normally evoke a reaction from you, now you're going to look at that situation and you're going to smile to yourself saying, in this situation, I would normally do this, or I would normally just say this, but now I'm just going to not respond, or now I'm just going to smile. That is when you begin to choose love, because choosing love means that you are choosing the action, whether it's word or deed, that is going to reflect your highest vibration, that reflects your inner consciousness, that reflects what you have achieved so far in your inner life. It reflects the best part of you, the best aspect of you. That is what choosing love means. It means choosing a word or a deed that is going to continue to launch you into the higher timelines, the better timelines, the better futures, into timelines that are going to unfold in ways that are going to be great for you and those you love. So every action is going to cause a reaction that is equal. And so you want your reaction, number one, not to be a reaction, but a response, an informed response, a thought out response, a response that is based on a pattern of your choosing love over and over again. So number one, we want to really get good at it. And to get good at something, it takes practice. It means that you're going to mess up a couple of times. And so be easy on yourself when you react, when you get triggered, when you say things that you would not have said if you had thought about it first. When you do things that you regret, don't be too hard on yourself. Just realize that the next time there is an opportunity to make a different decision, because it's all about decisions. And for most of our lives, when we are making these challenging decisions, it is the choice between a timeline that is aligned with love or one that is not. Okay? And we all are going to wind up getting to the same place, but it's going to take some longer than others, right? And it's okay. But if you are listening to me, you're listening to me because you resonate with what I'm saying, you resonate with my purpose, and you are trying to do your very best today. So there is a saying that says, when is the best time to plant a tree? It's 20 years ago is the best time to plant a tree. So if you didn't do it 20 years ago, just do it today. And what kind of tree are you planting? Well, that depends on the seed of intention that you want to plant. Okay, so some tips to be able to choose love. Let's go to that. So there are some tips, and I'm going to say this. Number one, make sure that it represents the best aspect of who you are. Make sure that the decision you're making is aligned with your purpose or your calling. Make sure that, ask yourself this question, will I be proud when I reflect on this later? Okay? And another thing is, which story would I prefer to tell in my book? So if you're the type of person who's going to be writing a book, or you're going to be doing a TED Talk, or you're going to be maybe relating some stories to your grandkids one day, which one of those stories you want to tell? And that's the choice you need to make. And it's okay if you don't make that choice consistently today, but you want to get better and better, because as you do it, it becomes a pattern. It becomes an unconscious competence. So practice makes perfect. Let's make some decisions that are based on love and not fear. Okay, enough about that. Another thing I want to say about the frequency of love, and I want to break it down. We know that love itself is the highest frequency. It's the highest vibration. But sometimes speaking of it in terms of vibration and frequency loses people. It's like, love is a feeling, so why are you talking about it like it's just science? Okay, so this is the way I want to break it down, and why this is just a way that you can really kind of like put your hand around it and hold it, this concept, the frequency of love. Think of the frequency of love as the average number of times in a day that you choose love over fear. Because we all day long, we are making choices. We are making choices that reflect our abundance, that reflect our love, that reflect our calling, that reflect our joy and our passion, or not. So the other option is that choosing a decision, making a decision that it is out of fear, it is out of avoidance, it is out of being in a mindset of survival. So if you're in survival mode, if you're worried about your image, if you're worried about $1, if you're worried about, whether or not you're going to be able to have somewhere to live, those basic types of things, you're most likely going to be in the mindset to choose fear. And there's no shame in it. We've all been there. We've all been in situations where the most important priority was surviving. I know I've been there in my life. I've been in life and death situations where it was not about, what is the best decision I can make? It was like reaction. It was like instinct. And I had to rely on my instinct to survive. And so being in survival mode is a part of being human, but it is not what you are in the mindset of 95% of the time. So 95% of your time, you should not be in survival mode, because you're not going to live very long if you are constantly, causing your adrenal gland and cortisol to be coursing through your body at all times. It's going to make you susceptible to illness, right? So you want to cultivate a life and a mindset that allows you not to be in survival mode, for you to be in thriving mode, for you to engage your higher chakras, where you are now thinking in terms of abundance, thinking in terms of creativity, not competition, right? So the frequency of love is the average number of times in a day that you realize that you're able to choose love versus fear. Think about that. And you may want to keep track of it. You're in traffic, and someone runs in front of you. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to, let out a, invective? Or are you going to curse? Or are you just going to breathe and realize that, well, that person's probably on the way to the hospital, or that person has to rush to pick up their daughter from practice. They're late and they want to get there in time. Or that person, whatever they have to do, a really good reason why they had to get in front of you that way. Or you may even think which I think is even a higher thought. Oh, that was me one day. There was one day that I did something just like that, and I remember why I did it. So I'm going to give that person grace because somebody gave me grace one day. All right? Those are ways to get in the habit of selecting love over fear, or choosing love over fear, and also making sure that the average number of times you choose love is much higher than fear. And as you do that over and over every day, you get better and better, and it becomes an unconscious competence. So the universe starts seeing you and observing you as someone that can be relied on to choose love instead of fear. And what happens when you're relied on by God, by the universe, to choose love over fear in a reliable way? Well, you're going to get more responsibility. You're going to be entrusted with more responsibility for the human collective. There are going to be assignments that you're going to be given just to you because you have shown your ability to choose love over fear. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope you got something out of that. So the next thing I want to talk about is manifestation, and why it's important to be grateful that the things that you are intending to do, the creations that you are working on, the seeds that you're planting, don't manifest right away. I mean, and I'm speaking to people that have been working hard and are really diligent and really trying to create something amazing in the world. And they are frustrated because what they're working on has not come to fruition yet. What they're working on has not manifested yet. And so I want to give you a word of encouragement why it's so much of a gift and a blessing to have to wait a while between planting your seed of intention and then then sowing that seed and actually harvesting that seed, okay? So just a couple of really simple examples, okay? So the process that it takes to manifest it takes time for several reasons. Number one, your seed of intentionality needs to grow roots, okay? You need to give it time to really ground itself and become part of solid reality so that it supports you and it supports whatever it is that you are doing, and it isn't fleeting and doesn't just go away very quickly but lasts for a long time. And you want it to take time, because what happens, and some of us have been an example, I know I have, where I bought a home and I bought some trees, and I bought a tree, I had it planted, and then there was a really terrible storm that happened right after the tree was planted. Well, as you might guess, the tree was knocked down and basically ruined. And the tree was knocked down. Why? Why was the tree not able to stand up to the wind and the rain that came right after I planted it? Well, as you might have guessed, the roots were not yet, they had not yet taken hold in the ground. The roots had not been able to hold that tree up, to support that tree, and all of the external elements, the forces of nature that a tree or anyone needs to withstand in order to survive. That tree was not ready. So just transplanting that tree from where I bought it to my backyard, even though it looked really beautiful when it was planted, it was a beautiful tree. It was a nice tree. It was going to be great for the backyard, but it had not taken root yet and was not able to withstand the elements. It was not able to withstand the wind. And so your seeds of intention, the things that you have in your mind that you are planting, the things that you are creating right now that you want to manifest yesterday, be thankful. Listen to me. Be grateful that there is a period of gestation between the time that you plant a seed and the time you harvest it. Because if there was no time for the root to grow, then it's not going to last. So rejoice knowing that whatever seed of intention that you're planting, rejoice knowing that it is in the ground, taking root, creating a foundation that is going to be able to sustain your dream. It's going to be able to sustain your dream, the thing that you want to happen, the thing that needs to happen in your life that you really, really are going to be proud of, the thing is that is going to help you unfold into the person you want to be. Be thankful that it doesn't manifest overnight. Because if it did, okay, maybe you're not going to be ready. Maybe it's not going to withstand some of the challenges that are going to come your way. Now I have one more example. Another example that comes to mind. Okay? In this example, somebody's calling me right now. It's very inopportune. This example has to do with when you are not in complete control of your thoughts, that you are not yet, like many of us, not a good manager of your thoughts and emotions. You know, from time to time how your mind can race, or how when you're about to fall asleep, maybe you're thinking about all sorts of crazy things, or maybe you have a thought that you have during the day, like if you have kids. There are times that I had these terrible thoughts about one of my kids getting into an accident or getting hurt or whatever, and I would just, I don't know why I would have these thoughts, but I am so happy that those errant thoughts that I had, those negative thoughts that I had about a loved one, something terrible happening to them, I'm so glad that my thoughts and my emotions did not align, and I did not dwell on that so long that it manifested right away. So oftentimes the fact that there is this long process between the time that you think something, you have emotions around it, you dwell on it, you cultivate things around it, and then there's time that passes. I am grateful that all of those criteria were not met before something manifested. So you should be happy that a lot of the thoughts and the emotions you have around those thoughts do not manifest right away. Because if they did, man, what kind of world would we live in? What kind of world would we live in? It would be like a horror movie. Because many of us have negative thoughts. Some of us have horrible thoughts that luckily we don't dwell on for long enough for them to manifest. So you want to be grateful that you are not yet at a point where your thoughts automatically manifest, or that things that you think about even from time to time, maybe it's a couple of times a day, you should be grateful that those thoughts do not manifest right away. Because if they did, you'd be creating a lot of horrific things. So the point I'm making is that be grateful, be thankful that your intentions, that your thoughts, that your dreams, that the things that you're intending to do and become take time to manifest, take time to take root, take time to make sure that this is what you really want. So you have to water those dreams. You have to cultivate those dreams. You have to dwell on them. You have to love them. And as you do that over time, when the gestation period is over, before you know it, there's going to be a harvest. But be thankful for that process, okay? So that is what I wanted to cover today. We covered the frequency of love and the importance of choosing love over fear. And we talked about a basic definition of the frequency of love. Then we also talked about manifestation and why it's really, really important to be thankful that you're not manifesting immediately, that there is a purpose and a reason why there is time that you have to wait before you harvest what it is that you've been intending. And also, in the very beginning, we talked about the burning bush, which I had not planned to. But remember that whatever it is that your calling is, whatever it is that you're being called to do, whatever your purpose is, be obedient to that, even if you don't feel that you have the expertise. There is a reason why you are being called to do that thing, because when you do that, you are going to activate something in yourself that has been preparing you unconsciously, has been preparing you even though you didn't realize it. And so when you reach out and you do that thing anyway without having the mastery yet, everything that you need for it to be successful will show up for you. Okay? That's all I had today. I hope everybody's doing well. You know how to contact me. I've already given you that information. Go out and enjoy this day. It is beautiful. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.